Hello, everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my great short stories series, we're going to be working on a new short story, The Demon Lover, set in London during the beginning of not the beginning, the middle of the war, of the European War, the beginning of the American War, during the Blitz. We're going to learn about the story's main character and her dreadful promise. Well, if it's called Lover, you can only guess what that might mean. So we'll be reading this. We'll be talking a lot about the language that you see. We'll be talking about how we can analyze the story as non-native speakers to help us understand and acquire new language. So more about that in just a minute. First, a little bit about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Tune in to the new words you're learning when we are speaking so that I can correct you and give you feedback. Finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. That is all you need to know about me. Where are all of you, Daniel? Is it Christmas and everyone's away?
I don't know. Maybe it's near.
Jeez.
Yeah. I was looking forward this class. It's my favorite class.
Great. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, we should have some others joining us. I noticed that in August, during summer vacation, and around Christmas, the numbers usually drop. It gets a little bit lower. In August, particularly, there was a lot of
Yes.
empty spaces, so maybe everyone is, I don't know, on vacation. Well, let's see. I'm going to open up the document, share it with you right now. There it is. Now, what do you think the story is going to be about? Taking a look at what you see.
London. The
There's London,
skyscraper
right?
of London.
There you go.
The old skyscraper.
And the title, Demon Lover.
Demon, I
What
don't
does
know.
that
Diamond. No, not demon.
Demon. What's a demon?
I don't know.
Khalid, what's a demon? Do you know?
Demon?
Yeah.
It's there is a software used this we call Demon, but I don't know the meaning of Demon.
There's a software you use called Daemon.
Sorry, Demon. Okay, yeah, Diamond, Diamond, right? Yeah, Demon. It's because I translated it's mean evil. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Demon, evil, something like this.
Yeah, exactly. Something evil.
Ah.
And
yeah.
I want to show you something before we even begin this story. I added something from the last class. You'll see Teacher Feature. And if you click on that, it takes you to page 3. And I want to put this on the same page. Give me a second. Let me add this. There we go. You'll see this is the same from the last class. It's not new, but 2 ways of working with the vocabulary. It's not just the working with vocabulary. The feature is, in every one of these classes, I want to give you an idea about how to learn without a teacher. Because the great thing about online tools is that you can use your teacher as a conversation partner rather than having to have someone explain to you. So I want to just review 2 things we can do and use the word demon as an example. So I'm going to put the word demon here on the top. Okay? And the first thing says, Method 1, work with words. Read through that, and I want you to try it right now because I've given you the ability to make comments directly on the document. Okay, so Daniel, go ahead and do that. Exactly what it says. Double click on the word demon, right click, select research, pick any dictionary you want, and when you hover over it, it'll give you the ability to add a link. So click on the word demon.
Demon.
Yeah, click on that word. Double click.
Research.
Yeah, double click research.
Yeah.
And then you'll see a bunch of dictionaries pop up. And when you select a dictionary, a little window, not a window, but a little box will open that says link. There you go. Good. That's it. Let me just get rid of the extra letters there. And you did it. Very good. Now, if I click on your link, it opens to Wikipedia. Let's take a quick look. And look at the demon. There you go. So it's got different spellings, but it all has the idea that Khalid just said. The idea of something evil, like a being. Something from
Wicked.
something wicked, right?
Wicked.
That's it. Okay, this is just to show you that one thing you can do with these stories is add your own definitions. Just double click, research. Now, I would probably use a different dictionary. So I would go here. I would add the dictionary that I often use, which is vocabulary.com. I would add that search feature you see in step 4, cite vocabulary.com. And I would probably, give me just a second, boom. I just put in the second link. So next to Daniel's demon, you've got my demon. And if you click on that, it takes you to vocabulary.com, which is good because it gives you a definition and lots of other things really, really fast. You don't have to really search around for it. On one page, you've got the definition, and then you've got examples on the right side. Now, these examples are taken from the internet. Sometimes they're accurate, sometimes they're not. So this is from the Washington Times, and then down there, the Seattle Times. The Seattle Times is a much better example. It says, it's talking about baseball. The Billy Martin of his day, without his personal demons that always caused Billy to self-destruct. Personal demons is a great use of the word demon. It's like problems. We can personify problems in the word demon. Billy Martin was like a baseball coach who had problems, I guess. Okay, so that is a quick example of one of the techniques I want you to use as we read today. The second technique is working with ideas, and that's simple. You can just add your comments. So, Khalid, this one's for you. I want you to double-click on the word ideas in method 2. Click on ideas, Khalid.
Okay.
Okay, and when the word ideas is highlighted, are you there? I don't see you clicking. There you go.
Yeah.
Click on, okay, right-click, and then select comment. And when you've selected comment, you can write a question or a comment. For now, write anything, it doesn't matter. And then click comment, the comment button, and it will appear.
Sorry, comment, okay.
Yeah, and then write
Okay.
something, a question or a comment. Click the button, and let's see if it appears.
Okay. Now it's in the method, right? Or in the idea?
It doesn't matter. I just want to see
Okay.
you add a comment
Okay,
so I
okay.
can see that you do it. And don't forget, you have to click the button that says comments at the end, or it won't actually appear for us. So I'll put my comment. Whoops. I'll put one for you. My comment. Click the comment button and it appears. You do the same. Khalid, are you doing it? Yeah, you can choose ideas or you can choose any word, it doesn't matter. Double click so it's highlighted. Right click, select
Okay, yeah,
comment.
yes, my comment, okay, okay. I will add my idea, the meaning of idea or something like
It doesn't matter, any
that.
text you like.
Okay.
And then click the button that says comment, and then we will see it as a group, okay? Hurry! Faster, I don't see it. There we go, very good. That's it. So what I want to show you is that you can use method 2, our work with ideas method, to ask your own questions and to make short comments on the story itself as we read. And this is one way that I can get all of you to participate more directly. Sometimes we have a lot of people and not everyone can ask questions or make comments. There's just too many people in the classroom. Okay, not today. But I want to show you this, and maybe when we have new people in the class, you can also demonstrate this, right? Show them how to do it. All right. Now you know what to do as we read. Let's get started. We're going to go down to the text, which is on the next page, page 4. And do I want to say anything before we begin? I do. Yeah, I want to give you a little bit of background. So, World War II began for the Americans in 1941. Of course, it began for the Europeans a lot earlier. But the onset of World War II placed a lot of problems, psychological burden on people living in London. So this story is partly about the Blitz. Do you know what I'm referring to with the Blitz in 1940, 1941? The
No.
German Blitz? What happened in London in the beginning of the war? Well, kind of the middle of the war. What was Germany
Yes.
doing to London?
The Second World War,
Right, the second.
thousand of bombs drop on the city.
That's exactly right.
Destroy. Destroy the
Basic-
city.
Basically destroyed it. So that is what we call the Blitz. The Blitz. Coming from the German word Blitzkrieg, which means like a lightning attack. So the Blitz is when they were dropping, in this case, when they were dropping bombs, bombarding the city. So there was a lot of physical and psychological burden on the people living there. They were constantly running to bomb shelters. Power had to be off at night so that planes couldn't see the lights of the city. From 1940 to May of 1941, the German Air Force launched a series of bombing raids designed to obliterate London, as Khalid said, and force Great Britain to surrender. Many families evacuated the city and moved to the country. They sent away the kids. Even if you stayed in the city, you'd send away your kids to be in a safer place. Those who could not leave, what do you think that they did to survive, guys? People who couldn't leave the city, what do you think they would do? If you were in London and you couldn't get away, what would you do to be safe?
Go to the metro, to subway.
Yeah,
What's that?
underground. If you have underground, I mean the like garage or anything underground.
Basement.
Absolutely. And in this case, Daniel, your first guess was right. They actually went into the subway. They went into the tube tunnels. They took refuge in the subway tunnels, and in some cases there were air raid shelters, and these were called the Nights of Horror. So a lot of people, for example, Alfred Hitchcock, famous film director, when he was interviewed about his movie The Birds, he said that it came from his childhood, not even his childhood, he wasn't that young, but he said it came from when he was, he remembered the raids, the Blitz in London, where they'd have to take shelter and you could hear the falling bombs. And the sound of the birds attacking the house was inspired by his memory of the of being in an air raid shelter. That's the background of the story. It's okay. As we read, add your own definitions. You can add questions and comments directly to the text if you like, and we're going to see how far we can get today. Wow, where's Yuki? He's always here.
It's very busy.
Is he? Oh my goodness.
Busy.
He's going to miss a very good story. He's going to be kicking himself. Okay. So, Daniel, why don't you start us off? The Demon Lover.
Towards the end of her day in London, Mr. Drover went round to her shut up.
Mr. or Mrs.?
Yeah, Mrs. Drover went round to her shut up house to look for several things she wanted to take away. Some belonged to herself, some to her family, who were by now used to their country life. It was late August. It had been a steamy, showery day. At the moment the trees down the pavement glittered in an escape of humid yellow afternoon sun.
Glittered, by the way. Glittered.
Glittered.
Right. Good. Glittered. That's it.
The pavement glittered in an escape of humid yellow afternoon sun, against the next batch of clouds already piling up.
Piling up?
Sorry?
Piling up?
Already piling up ink dark, broken chimneys and parapets stood out, in her once familiar street, as in any unused channel, an unused channel, an unfamiliar keenness had silted up. A cat wove itself
What's that? Sorry? Okay.
A cat wove itself in and out of railings, but no human eye watched Mrs. Drover's return. Shifting some parcel under her arm, she slowly forced round her latchkey in an unwilling lock, then gave the door, which had warped a push with her knee. Death air came out to meet her as she went in.
Okay, so we've got a classic opening of a short story. We call this the exposition. Everything you need to get the setting and the character is kind of in one place. So, let's see if we can just figure out a few things before we even begin. Who is the character? Where is she? What's she doing? The obvious questions. What did you pick up?
It's a lady.
It's a lady.
Miss Drover, yeah.
She's Drover. Her family. It's in another country, no?
She's in another country?
No.
Yeah, it was in the late of August, the time.
Okay. So it's the end of the summer, right?
The end of the summer, yeah. And she wanted to take away of herself or
Hawkins, maybe.
What was that? Say again? She wanted to... I'm hearing two people talk at once, so...
Take away.
Take what away? You have to take something away.
Yes, some belong to herself and to her family.
So she wanted to not take away, but she wanted to...
Leave.
She wanted to one second here. Belongs to herself. She belonged to herself, some to her family. Some belong to herself. Somewhat. Several things she wanted to take away. Oh, I see. You're using the word take away from the first sentence. Okay. We always have to take something away. So she wanted to take away what exactly?
Several things.
Several things. What kind of several things, though? Things she found in the street? No. What
No,
kind of things?
her house, in her family house.
Yeah. Her family possessions.
Mm.
She wants to save them because we can imagine that her house is going to be bombed if she doesn't do something. She's got to take away and save what she can. I would imagine. Okay, just a question for you. What details suggest that Mrs. Drover might not be safe? What details suggest that she might not be safe? In this first paragraph. Anyone? Any ideas? Hello, hello?
Mm. Uh, it could be is nowhere on the street. It's mm,
What, hang on, go back a second. Look at the question written in the second box there. What details suggest that Mrs. Dover may be unsafe? And you said what in the street?
no. Uh, mm, he's tried to save familiar or personal things because of the bleed.
Yep, probably. That's one thing. She's saving things. Okay?
Hmm.
And what about the language used in the first paragraph? Does it give you a particular mood or a particular idea that she's not safe?
Set,
Yes.
set up house. Set up house.
The house is,
White house.
yeah, it's quiet, eerie. There's no noise.
Mm.
Yeah. And Khalid, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's indicate that indicate that, yes, what you're asking.
And the cat, you said?
No,
Or
no,
indicate?
indicate that.
Indicate.
Yeah.
One thing, yeah, it's quiet. She seems very isolated. It's kind of, it says here, an unfamiliar queerness, like a feeling of something strange, something isn't right. So we already have this sense that something is unusual. And also, this line down here for me, dead air came out to meet her as she went in. Like this idea that dead air for us is air that doesn't smell very fresh. It's
Yes.
very still. It doesn't move, like you're opening a tomb or a mausoleum. And that's
Because it's usually dead air when there is maybe war or the life is so bad, so maybe something like this. It's no activity, it's no
yeah, exactly.
a lot of people maybe die, so that's something like that.
So it's already got this kind of eerie feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that before? Eerie.
No.
No.
Eerie is like a good word for Halloween. Um, if you see, for example, sometimes old dolls, you always have these movies with shots of old dolls in these Hollywood movies, you know, those old neglected dolls from the 19th century or something like that. They have an eerie feeling. They seem like they're alive. Eerie. A feeling that makes you feel nervous, unsettled.
Strange.
Say
Strange
again?
also. Strange.
Strange.
Strange? Yeah, strange. And eerie has the feeling of something supernatural. Strange and kind of haunted, like a ghost. Eerie. So there's something eerie about the dead air and the quietness. And we've got the cat wove itself in and out of the railings. The cat is moving like a weaving. When you weave, you go in and out of the thread. The cat's going in and out of the railings. We often think of cats at Halloween. A black cat is a sign of bad luck if you see a black cat. And so no human eye watched. Sounds like maybe a demon eye is watching her, because no human eye is watching her. There's all these clues that there's something strange going on, or a feeling of something strange. Anyway, that's what I notice when I read here. So Khalid, why don't you continue? Let's find out. Now that we have a sense of something dangerous and eerie, let's find out what happens. Keep going, next paragraph. Khalid?
Oh,
Oh, we lost him. He'll be back.
I hope.
He'll be back. Let's see if he comes back quickly. He's not coming back. All right. I'll tell you what. I'll read until he gets here, and if he doesn't come back, then you'll take over Daniel. And all you people out there, you can come in. There's plenty of space. So, the staircase window having been boarded up, no light came down into the hall. But one door, she could just see, stood ajar. Ajar means open.
Mm-hmm.
So she went quickly through into the room and unshuttered the big window in there. Now the prosaic woman, looking about her, prosaic is a good word, so I'll open that up. Prosaic woman, looking about her, was more perplexed than she knew by everything that she saw. Traces of her long former habit of life, the yellow smoke stain up the marble mantelpiece. The mantelpiece is like where you have the fireplace. Oh, Khalid is back. Very good. So Khalid, I'll give you a chance to read. I'll just finish this paragraph.
Yeah, okay.
So she's in the house. She's described as a prosaic woman. Prosaic is ordinary, dull, everyday. So prosaic has also from the idea of prose, the opposite of poetry. Someone who is not poetic. So this prosaic woman, this normal woman, looking about her, she sees all these things which remind her of, I guess, normal life, and maybe her life is not so normal now. Like the yellow stain up the marble mantelpiece, where the fire used to be. The ring left by a vase on top of the escritoire. I don't even know what that is.
A desk.
A desk, okay. Secretary, I guess, in English. We'll open in a second. There we go. Desk used for writing. Yes, secretary is another name for it. Escritoire. Escritoire. The bruise in the wallpaper where on the door being thrown open widely. The china handle had always hit the wall. The piano, having gone away to be stored, had left what looked like claw marks on its part of the parquet. Though not much dust had seeped in, each object wore a film of another kind, and the only ventilation being the chimney, the whole drawing room smelled of cold hearth. Hearth is that big fireplace that old houses used to have. So it smelled of like the remnants of a fire. Mrs. Drover put down her parcels on the escritoire and left the room to proceed upstairs. The things she wanted were in a bedroom chest. By the way, as we read this, think back to the Roald Dahl story about the hotel. I wonder if there's any similarities. Okay, Khalid, take it away.
Okay. She had been
Anxious. Good.
anxious to see how the house was. The part-time caretaker she shared with some neighbors was away this week on his holiday, known to be not yet back. At the best of times, he did not look in often, and she was never sure that she trusted him. There were some cracks in the structure left by the last bombing, on which she was anxious to keep any eye. Not that one could do anything. A shaft of
Refracted, yes.
daylight now lay across the hall. She stopped dead and stared at the hall table. On this lay a letter addressed to her.
Okay, very good. Well, actually, why don't we keep reading and find out specifically about the letter? Keep going, Khalid.
Okay. She thought first, then the caretaker must be back. All the same, who seeing the house shattered would have dropped a letter in the box. It was not a circular. It was not a bill, and the post office required it to the address in the country. Everything for her that came through the post. The caretaker, even if he were back, did not know she was due in London today. Her call here had been planned to be surprised. So his neglection in the manner of this letter, leaving it to wait in the dusk, and the dust annoyed her.
So go back just a second. His negligence.
His negligence in the manner of this letter, leaving it to wait in the dusk, and the dust annoyed her.
Annoyed her.
Annoyed. She picked up the letter, which bore no stamp, but it cannot be important, or they would know. She took the letter rapidly upstairs with her without a stop to look at the writing till she reached what had been her bedroom, where she lit in light. The room looked over the garden and other gardens. The sun had gone in as the cloud sharpened. Sharpened and lowered the trees and rank lawns.
Sorry, go ahead, yes.
Okay. Rank's lawns seems ready to smoke with dark. Her reluctance
Reluctance.
to look again at the letter came from the fact that she felt intruded upon and by someone contribution
Contemptuous.
contemptuous
Good.
contemptuous of her ways. However, in the tenses preceding the fall or rain,
Fall.
the fall or rain, she read it. It was few lines.
And it says, Dear Kathleen, you will not have forgotten that today is our anniversary, and the day we said. The years have gone by at once slowly and fast. In view of the fact that nothing has changed, I shall rely upon you to keep your promise. I was sorry to see you leave London, but was satisfied that you would be back in time. You may expect me, therefore, at the hour arranged. Until then, K. Hmm. So, who do you think this letter is from? And think about what you just read. She's going through the house. She finds the letter. Does she expect to see the letter? What do you think, based on the last paragraph?
No, she doesn't expect.
She doesn't expect it.
Mhm.
Who do you think the letter's from?
Her friend, something.
Okay. What kind of friend?
A lover friend.
Maybe a demon lover friend. Rank lawns. Just go back to the definition for rank, because I put it there, and on the next page you can see the word deals with in order of some kind, high-ranking officer, but it doesn't really fit. That doesn't really fit. Rank has a third definition down there. It says very offensive in smell or taste. So maybe if we're talking about the house being kind of falling apart and dead air, it looks like we're looking at her room. The room looked over the garden and other gardens. The sun had gone in, okay, so it's behind the clouds. The clouds sharpened and lowered. The trees and rank lawns seem already to smoke with dark. Well, it could mean rank that the lawns were lined up one after another, or it could mean rank that they had been neglected and they were sort of a mess, and maybe there was, you know, it had not been, the lawns had not been attended to. What's another word for lawn here? What are we talking about, by the way?
Rust.
Yeah, grass. Sometimes we'll say a garden. In British English, they often say garden. We in America tend to say lawns. But anyway, that grassy field, little grassy area behind or in front of a house. Her reluctance to look again at the letter came from the fact that she felt intruded upon by someone contemptuous of her ways. What's another way to say contemptuous here? If you have contempt for someone, do you like them? Do you not like them?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're contemptuous.
You like him.
You do?
Yes.
I don't know. I'll do a quick search. Let's see what it says. For me, contemptuous would be more like a kind of jealousy.
The opposite of like him.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
is nasty or it's not.
Yeah.
You hate him.
Basically, kind of a hate. So here, a hateful way, acting as if, even if you don't hate, acting as if you hate. So the word disdain is a good word. Okay. So this letter, she feels intruded upon by someone contemptuous of her ways. So the letter is something she doesn't expect. It makes her feel uneasy. Then she reads it, and we have this idea that it's from someone she knows. And from the title, we can only guess that it's from someone from her past, maybe a lover. Daniel, take it away.
Mrs. Mrs. Dror looked for the date. It was today's. She dropped the letter onto the bedspreads, then picked it up to see the writing again. Her lips, beneath the remains of lipstick,
Her lips
be-
beneath.
beneath beneath the remains of lipstick, beginning to go white. She felt so much the change in her own face that she went to the mirror, polished a clear patch in it,
Patch.
patch in it, and looked at once, urgently and stealthily in. She was confronted by a woman of 44, with eyes starting out under a hat brim that had been rather carelessly carelessly pulled down.
Carelessly.
Carelessly pulled down. She had not put on any more powder since she left the shop where she ate her solitary tea. The pearls her husband had given her on their marriage hung loose round her now rather thinner throat, slipping in the V of the pink wool jumper her sister knitted
Knitted.
last knitted last autumn as they sat round the fire. Mrs. Drove's most normal expression was one of controlled worry, but of assent. Since the birth of the third of her little boys, attended by a quite serious illness, she had had an intermittent muscular flicker to the left of her mouth, but in spite of this she could always sustain a manner that was at once energetic and calm.
So first, let's get that word all sent. That's not a word you hear every day. So I'll look it up quickly. There we go. And I'll also add the link to the document. Consent means agreement. If you nod your head in, oh, I said assent. I'm sorry, assent. I can't even read what I'm writing.
To nod, to nod, to nod.
Assent, to agree.
Mhm.
To agree. And I'll put the link there as well. Second. Um, and we've got some nodded his head in assent. We've got some examples there. Okay, so here's a good point here. Dissent, which is a word we hear all the time, is an antonym. Assent and dissent. Okay, so that's not bad because we've got a more common word that you might know. Okay, so Daniel, what do we get here in this paragraph? What's her reaction after reading?
It's disappoint. She's disappointed.
Well, I would look at this line here. This one that I'm gonna make a little comment.
Beginning to go white. It's
Yeah.
it's an idiom. Is it
No,
an idiom?
no, it's not. This really happened. So why did this happen? Really happen?
Okay. Yeah. It's a bad surprise.
Yeah, it's a bad surprise. It's like all the blood leaves your face. You go
Mm.
pale, like you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
pass out.
yeah.
So what's her reaction, in other words?
Mm, it's like a demon is talking to her
Through the letter. Yeah.
through the letter.
And she has this reaction of going white, and it forces her to do what? She feels her face, she feels her lips going white. So it forces her to do what, Daniel? What does she do in the room?
She went to the mirror
Yeah,
mm,
she
to
forces her to
to
look
s-
at herself.
to see her, yes, her face.
Um, okay, and what does she see when she looks in the mirror?
A 44 woman.
So she sees a middle-aged woman.
Mhm.
Uh,
With eyes starting out under hat, praying. And there's, I mean, it's their health. Maybe she doesn't care of herself, something like this. Careless. Mm.
Absolutely. She's not doing what a woman at the time might have done.
Mm.
Or it could just be that she's middle-aged and she doesn't care so much. For example, is she wearing makeup?
No.
No, she's not. She had not put on any more powder since she left the
Mm.
shop. So she's looking at herself. She looks old or older. And what else? What about her clothes? What's she wearing?
uh,
Turner
a
clothes,
V pink wool jumper.
What,
pink wool. Mm.
what is that? What's a jumper?
Uh, in wooden, woolen, wool. It's
Woolen what?
like a shirt, but in another material, in wool.
Right. Where
It's
do you wear it?
warm clothes.
Right. Okay. So in American English, we call that a sweater.
That's what.
In British English, a jumper. So a V-neck jumper. She's got a sweater on, a jumper on. Her sister made the sweater. Is that it? What other clothes did you pick up in this paragraph? Is she wearing anything on her head?
Mm. She is her sister knit last autumn.
Knitted the sweater.
The sweater, the jumper.
Is she wearing anything on her head?
Pearls on her neck,
She's wearing her
hang,
husband's pearls,
hanging
right?
her neck.
And she's got that hat on too.
Mm.
The eyes are staring out from under the brim of the hat. What do you think the brim is? What part of the hat is the brim?
What kind of hat?
Doesn't matter what kind of hat it is. What do you think the brim is? If the eyes are looking out from under the brim, what part of the hat is the brim? The round part or the flat part?
Flat.
Right. The flat part that stops the sun from getting in your eyes is the brim. So we've got the brim, we've got the pearls, we've got the V-neck, we've got her face going white,
Mm.
and she's normally able to control herself, but this time she can't, maybe. She's normally able to assume a manner of that is energetic and calm, like she's always happy, but right now her face has gone white, so we imagine this is a big surprise. Okay, Khalid. Well, actually, let me take the short one and then you do the next one. Turning from her own face as precipitatedly as she had gone to meet it, she went to the chest, where chest is like where the clothes are, the drawers. She went to the chest where the things were, unlocked it, drew up through. Oh my God, I can't read today. she, she went to the chest where the things were. Like the chest is like, you have a treasure chest in a sunken ship, or you've got the chest at the end of the bed that has the blankets in it. It's like a big box. But you can also have things in it like a safe. So she went to the chest where the things were, unlocked it, threw up the lid, and knelt to search. Knelt means to be on her knees. She knelt to search. But as rain began to come crashing down, she could not keep from looking over her shoulder at the stripped bed on which the letter lay. Behind the blanket of rain, the clock of the church that stood that stood that still stood, because I guess the churches had been bombed. The clock of the church that still stood struck 6. With rapidly heightening apprehension, she counted each of the slow strokes. The hour arranged. My God, she said, what hour? How should I, after 25 years? So, this is the sound of the church. The other churches might have been gone, but this church is striking 6. Khalid, let's find out what happens.
The young girl t- talking to the soldiers in the garden had not even completed seeing his face. It was dark. They were saying goodbye under a tree, now and then, for it felt from not seeing him at this intense moment, as
Intense moment.
intense moment, as though she had never seen him at all. She survived his presence for these few moments, longer by putting out a hand which he each time
Pressed.
pressed, pressed without very much kindness, and painfully, painfully into one of the pressed buttons of his uniform, that cut off the button of
Palm.
the palm of her hand was principally
Wait, slow down. Principally.
principally principally what
Too
she
many
was
syllables, too many syllables. Not principally, but principally. Principally.
principally
That's it.
principally what she was to carry away. This was so near the end of the leaf form French that she could only wish him already gone. It was August 1916, being not kissed, being drawn away from and looked at, intimidated,
Intimidated.
intim,
Intimidated.
intimidated Kathleen till she imagined spectral glitters in the blaze of his eyes, turning away and looking back up the line she saw through branches of trees, the drawing room windows alight. She caught a breath for the moment. She caught the breath for
She
the
caught
moment.
she caught a breath for a moment.
She caught a breath for a moment when she could go running back there into the safe arms of her mother and sister and cry, "What shall I do? What shall I do? He has gone."
Who has
He,
gone? Who has gone, Khalid?
I think his
Her, not his, but
uh,
her.
sorry, her husband.
Yeah, maybe.
Mm.
Maybe it's her husband. Although it says the young girl talking to the soldier. So if that's her, maybe
For the soldiers.
yeah. If she's the young girl, then maybe it's not her husband. Maybe it's
Boyfriend.
Maybe
something
she loves some man or something.
something like that. And I made a comment with the words in black. It was 1916. Can you see the comment on the side? The young man was on leave from fighting in France during World War One because it's 1916. So we know this is the Blitz in 1941. This paragraph is taking place in 1916. So what do you think? Is this real? Is this a memory? Is this a flashback? What do you think? Do you know what a flashback is? Have you heard that expression before? Flashback?
It's an old memory.
An old memory.
Mm.
A flashback, I'll put the word there in the side. Flash.
Maybe maybe the letter is from this soldier.
I would think so.
She believed he died. He had died.
Absolutely. I think it's from the soldier from her memory. Perhaps it's her boyfriend, and we would guess that he died. But she gets this letter about some kind of meeting that they're supposed to have, and
Yeah.
she's
He missed, he missed that meeting or that.
yeah, or maybe she didn't.
Or she wanted to kiss him, or
Maybe she didn't miss the meeting at all. Maybe the meeting is today. We'll find out. By the way, a flashback, I made a note there on the side. A moment in a film or a story where we go back in time. So it's like a narrative device. Now, this moment is probably her memory, I would guess, but it's also a kind of a flashback to the events that happened in the previous war. There's this connection between the two wars, a connection between her now and her as a kid, and the letter is the thing that seems to be connecting the two. We're gonna stop here. I'm gonna let me see how much we can do. I don't know. I think we might. Let's see. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it's 4 pages. I would suggest that you read the story, the rest of the story on your own, actually. And on
Sure.
Thursday we discuss it. And maybe we could just read some bits and pieces. But I suggest you read the rest of it on your own. What do you think's going to happen?
maybe he will
like a
meet
ghost.
that guy, the soldier.
A ghost from the past.
A ghost from the past. As you read, I want you to think about whatever happens. I want you to think about how it was set up in the beginning. We talked a little bit about that feeling that was created. And another thing I want you to think about is how some of the words have more than one meaning, about ambiguity. Particularly after the letter, that first paragraph after the letter, if you look at the lines, for example, K. Who is K? Could that character be more than one person? Right? K, we have, later on we have this word Kathleen. Is that the person that we're talking about here? Is that the person she's remembering, or is that her? So think about that as you read. Okay, on that note, we're going to stop for today. I've got some comprehension questions at the end, which will help you to reflect on the story. Okay, so as you read it, go down and answer the comprehension questions as well. Okay, very good. So let's pick up here on Thursday, and I'll be back in about 30 seconds to start our business class, where we continue talking about technology and communication, something very different than this. Bye for now. See you in a few minutes, I hope.
Bye
Bye
bye.
for now,
Bye.
everyone.